Okay, this is the second time I've tried to do this and it didn't work third time, so fingers crossed. Okay, I'm finding myself with spare time today, which is something I'm not usually experiencing. And I'm thinking, what can I do with that spare time? How can I add content? How can I make myself be productive and I would add something to help people to do something with this time. So there's a couple of wee things I wanted to share. I'll do a couple of separate recordings. Hopefully it'll be helpful. It's just a wee bit of insight into something that I experienced and discovered and noticed and saw myself. And sometimes these things can help other people to see that in themselves as well. So the other day, my husband came home from work. He was really overwhelmed. He'd started really early. It's on a Thursday, he starts really, really early in the morning. He goes to a networking event and he goes all his day at work, comes home, and then we have a commitment that we need to go to every Thursday evening with my daughter. We go together to that. And there's no way around that. We have to do it that way. It works for us for lots of different reasons. And so he came home and he was really tired. And he was like, do we really need to go tonight? And he knows that we do, but he was just expressing how he felt. And I held space and we listened and we acknowledged how tired he was, how overwhelmed he was. And he came, we calmed down a bit. We had hugs and, connection and used relationship and validated how he was feeling. And he started to come back to some form of regulation, but he was still stressed. He's still overwhelmed. It was just done. He just reached his limit. Totally understand that. We've all been there. And so that was fine. We had dinner and it was time for us to go out. And as I was leaving, I heard something going on down the stairs. I was getting myself ready. I heard something going on downstairs and I came in mid conversation. He's at the door, the two girls. One was coming with us, one that's not. She's staying at home. And they're both, it's playing a banter, but sometimes I think banter can verge into argument when they always say to me, oh, mum, it's just banter. You get so stressed. We're just having a laugh. And I'm thinking, oh, I can see this going south, but that's my own stuff where my mum used to say, this is going to end in tears. Every time we got excitement in our house and happiness, she came in and she would bring that down because she was getting triggered for some reason by that. And I could see that in myself, but this was definitely verging on an argument. So they're both telling him that he has to say please. He's obviously asked one of them to do something and he's not said please. And they've got on his case, which he would have done if it was the other way around over the years. And they're right. He should have probably said please. But he's been really stubborn and he won't say it. And he's like, right, just come on, just go with it. Come on, let's just go. And but I know that he's already overwhelmed. They're not aware of this. That's not their role, to know that. And so on the way out the door, it didn't escalate too much, but on the way out the door, I kind of pulled him up on it. And I said, what's going on there? You just being really stubborn. Why could you not just say, please? And he does a big sigh that he often does. Yeah. Now, we've been married nearly 30 years, and I always have heard this sigh, and my internal dialogue is that sigh means that I'm talking rubbish, that he thinks that I am creating a drama and I'm talking mince and that that it's Suzanne again. And so I get really defensive. And I say to him, what's the sigh supposed to mean? And he says to me, no, this is just after watching Brian Post's recording and just after, listening to all of that stuff about transitions. He says to me, well, I don't know, is it not a transition or something? And I take that as him trying to be really smart and use this information to attack me and to turn it around on me and to use it as and I am really triggered. Now we're getting in the car at this point and I have said, I have enough. I'm getting really triggered, but I have enough just to remind myself to say nothing. Now, I believe that I'm under attack in this moment, and I get in the car, and in the past, I would have went really into either kicking off or shutting down, often shutting down, sitting in a huff, not speaking to anybody, not engaging with anybody. This would affect my daughter in the back seat. She would start to feed off this my autistic daughter, and all the stuff. So I'm sitting in the car, and I have to make a choice to not go into this state. Although I'm thinking, he's just trying to be smart. He's using this against me. He's turning it around. I'm under attack. He's out of order. All that stuff, all my generational stuff. And we drive in kind of silence, but not in shut down silence. And my daughter starts to chat and he starts to chat. And I choose. I could actually see myself making the choice to engage with the conversation and not shut down. So we get her to where she's to go. She gets out the car and she goes, we usually go get a Costa coffee, and we come back and we wait for her. So by this time it's just the two of us in the car. I've calmed down and I've had time to reflect on it myself, and I can see that I was triggered, and I can see some of my own stuff in this, but I'm still trying to understand what's happening for him. So when we're on our own and my daughter's away, and then we're both calmer, it's maybe about 40 minutes later since the event happened, I can say to him, what was that all about? You know, look what happened there. And I own my own part in it first. And I offer to him what I realised about myself. And I say to him, I see now that when I hear you make that sigh, my brain tells me that you're telling me that I'm talking rubbish and that I'm causing a drama. And that's all my own stuff, because as a child, I was always in behaviours, and I was always being told that I was a pain in the neck and that I was creating drama and I was attention seeking, when actually I'd stressed out, overwhelmed parents, and I was desperate for connection, and I was stressed and overwhelmed. But that was the signals that I got sent a lot of the time, that I was a pain, that I was a nuisance, that I was like, what now? And that's the signal that I was receiving, and that's my inner blueprint. But I say to him, I now assume that's not what you meant, but please tell me what that sigh means. What is it that you're thinking when you do that? And he says to me that he's not really sure, but that he was thinking, oh, okay, you know, here I am doing this thing that I need to work on, and I need to calm down, and I need to do my own stuff. And that it wasn't about me. It wasn't an attack on me, which is, I believe, after nearly 30 years, I'm still thinking this after all these years of marriage, and I'm huffing and sighing at me all these years, and now realising this is not what it means. I was able to talk about it. I was able to look at what was really happening in the moment and acknowledge that he was really stressed, he was really overwhelmed. His takeaway from this is that he has done too much, and he's realising he starts earlier on a Thursday, he finishes late by the time he's done all this with us, and we have to go out and do this at night. We don't get home till about 9, half 9. He's up at 5:30 in the morning. He does his networking event. He works really hard all day, comes home for dinner, and then we have to go out to this club with my daughter. And he says, I crammed in so much work, crammed in too many things, trying to please everyone, trying to fix everything. And he's realising this about himself, doing all his own work. And he said, I need to learn on a Thursday that I don't take so much on, that this downtime, I become home earlier and maybe let myself have a slower day because I've got a big day. And he realises that it affects us, it affects the whole dynamic. And we were able to have this conversation and both learn something, which has taken us still years of doing this work to still have these conversations. Every day is things happening in my life, and I'm going, oh my God, look at what happened there. Look at what I did. Look at what you did. And we didn't have a fight. We didn't fall out. And I'm now learning to not take that sigh as a personal attack. And the difference I'm seeing in myself is that I'm less going into the argument and then having to come back and repair, and I'm more been able to stop myself from going into the argument, just taking him. And in that minute, I really believed that he was doing this to me and using this information as an attack on me. And when I calmed down, I realized he's right. It is a transition. His brain is transitioning into, like, you know what, you're probably right, and I need to do my own work here. But he doesn't use those words. So I take it and I make it into what I think it is. And often we're wrong. Just like when my daughter is angry with me in the world, and she's huffing and she's sighing and she's being unpleasant, and I take it as an attack on me, and I say, why do you hate me? Why are you angry at me? And she says, it's not about you, Mum. I'm just angry. I'm just stressed. And I take it as an attack on me. It's not about me. We always think it's about us. It's not about us. It's about them. And it takes moments afterwards of reflecting to see that. Anyway, I just thought that was really powerful after all these years. I'm still learning. And I just thought that was a real beautiful moment to be able to have that conversation and both of us learn something new. Thought it would share. Hope it's helpful.